Congratulations on receiving your vending machine. This video will demonstrate how you set up the hardware and software on your model 3561 and 3563 vending machine. Before we get started, this machine is equipped with a refrigeration deck. It must be understood that your machine should have been transported in an upright position. If your machine was transported on its side for any reason, the machine has to have been upright for a minimum of 24 hours prior to powering it up, or it will not operate correctly. The day of your installation, remember to have on hand the food and drink products you will be placing in the selections, along with a roll each of nickels, dimes, and quarters to make change. When accepting $5 bills, a roll of $1 coins is recommended. Be sure to have the following tools ready when setting up your machine: a box cutter or blade to cut open the packaging, a pry bar or crowbar, or large screwdriver and hammer to separate the shipping skids from the machine, a bubble level for leveling the machine, a 1 3/8 or adjustable open-end wrench, and a screwdriver with a Phillips head. Throughout this video, please feel free to press pause and perform the directed activities as you go. You will recognize that the video follows along with the written instructions that you found on the front of your machine. We understand that seeing how the setup occurs, as well as following the step-by-step written instructions, generally makes it much easier. Although the exterior of the machine shown in the following steps may differ from yours, the steps and processes for machine acceptance, skid removal, and machine leveling are the same. Your machine was thoroughly inspected before leaving the factory, and the delivering carrier has accepted responsibility for this machine. Before signing for your machine, be sure to inspect it for any damage that may have occurred during transit. Examine the exterior packaging for visible signs of damage. Unwrap or request that the packaging be removed from the machine to examine all sides to confirm no hidden damage is evident. If any damage is visible, do not sign for the machine. Instead, call the freight company and request an inspection before the driver leaves. Do not allow the truck driver to rush you through the inspection of your equipment. The factory will not accept responsibility for any hidden damage. If no visible damage is evident and you are satisfied with the condition of the machine, you can sign the delivery acceptance form with the carrier. To remove the shipping skid boards that came with your machine, use a pry bar, crowbar, or large screwdriver and drive it into the separation line located in the center of each skid board end. This separation line is used to split the wood away from the leg. You can then knock the boards away from the legs. Due to the weight of the machine, this may be easier with a helper pushing on the side of the machine to take the pressure off while you separate the wood from the legs. You can then dispose of the boards and the metal washers. Next, find the keys located in the coin delivery chute to the bottom right of the machine. Unwrap the plastic sack. You will find several items stowed in the machine. The service pack contains manuals, product spacers, and back screen protector. Try to keep these items with the machine for later reference. Remove the power cord from the connection box by removing 4 screws. Then route the cord under the cover. Keep power cord secured on the center back of the cabinet until the vendor is placed into its final location to prevent damage to the cord. Open the back screen protector from the package, then remove the screws inside and screw the back screen protector on. For indoor use, the vane should direct the air exhaust upward, and for outdoor use, downward. Before plugging the machine into an outlet, it is best to check for proper polarity. There must be a ground and correct voltage. When checking the power supply, make sure to use a receptacle polarity tester. It is recommended that you have the machine on a dedicated circuit and avoid using an extension cord. If an extension cord can't be avoided, it must be a minimum rating of 8 gauge. If the receptacle is not properly grounded or polarized, contact a licensed electrician to correctly polarize and/or ground the receptacle to ensure safe operation. For proper operation of any equipment utilizing electronically controlled components, the equipment should be placed on an isolated or dedicated noise-free circuit properly polarized and grounded. Refer to electrical specifications in your service manual to determine circuit amperage and protection. If your machine has a ground fault interrupter, test by resetting and then pressing test on the device. It is important to give your refrigeration system room to breathe. Give the machine at least 4 inches of space from the wall to ensure proper airflow from the exhaust fan. Now that your machine is in its final position, we can level it. Leveling the machine is an important step. A level machine allows the door to open and close properly, as well as other items within the machine to move correctly. Properly leveling the door and the cabinet is essential to a well-working machine. This will allow the door to lock easily, the cabinet to seal correctly with the door, and the baffle to provide security. Using a level, place it on top of the machine. Make sure that the level is on top of the cabinet and not the door. Using a 1 3/8 open end wrench, adjust the cabinet legs until the machine is level from side to side and front to back. Unlock the door and open it to view the white door ramp located on the left leg riser. When closing the door should ride over this ramp gently, not hitting it. In this case, the door needs to be adjusted. You should not have to lift or push the door for it to close. There are 2 outboard leg levelers located on the legs that help adjust the door. Start on the left-hand side and adjust it down until it meets the floor. Next, move to the right outboard leg and lower the outboard leveler until it hits the floor. Then maybe a couple more turns to raise the hinge point, which raises the door. Then use your hand to open the door to see if it opens smoothly. If it doesn't, adjust the leg lever down until the door glides over the ramp. This should allow you to close and latch the door upon service. This also means that the machine is properly leveled. After plugging in the power cord into a dedicated power outlet, open the vendor door. Turn on the main power switch located on the power panel within the cabinet. The door glass heater harness connection is normally disconnected to conserve energy. In environments where the humidity is above 70%, the glass heater harness should be connected to prevent water condensation from forming on the glass surface. When the ambient conditions are below 70% humidity, the glass should be disconnected. Inside the door, you will find directions for your air filter. It is important to clean the air intake screen underneath the machine weekly for optimal system performance and longevity. When replacing the air filter, be sure to keep the clips from the old filter and place them on the new filter in the same spot. Be sure that the air is flowing in the correct direction through the filter. Make sure your replacement is the same style air filter and do not use a HEPA filter as it will restrict the airflow. The machine is equipped with new iVent sensors to guarantee the customer gets what they ordered and the vendor is paid for the product. iVent is an innovative infrared sensing system that contains an infrared light emitter and receiver mounted on each side of the delivery box. The infrared emitter projects beams of light that scan the entry of the delivery bin. During the first vent cycle, if a product is not sensed by the beam of the iVent system, the system waits 1 second, then initiates a second turn, and upon the sensor seeing the product, the spiral will be stopped instantly. If the product does not get dropped to delivery bin, the machine will read, "Please choose another selection." To load products, lift the tray slightly and pull forward until the tray stops. The trays tilt for easier loading. Load products from front to back, making sure all items fit freely between the spiral spaces. Do not attempt to force oversized items or packages into the spaces. Do not skip a space. Place the product on the bottom of the compartment on the product spirals with the label facing the front of the vendor for easy identification for the customer. Products must not overhang the edge of the tray to avoid being hit by the elevator bin. Your product may need to be in a more upright position to prevent it from lifting at the end of the spiral. Please remember, do not put bottles in a dual spiral selection. If the product does not fit the spiral properly, use a different pitch spiral. If you need help identifying spirals for your product, contact Vendnet today. To unlatch the can bottle trays, place both hands with your under palms up. Then push out simultaneously with your thumbs depressing the slide left and right side latches and pull out. Carefully load products vertically. Some bottle and can containers present and vend better by using the provided product risers. If the product requires additional vertical space and presents or vends poorly, add risers for cans and smaller items. Some bottle beverages may require an optional kit for proper vending. Contact Vendnet for more information. Product risers can be removed by unscrewing the 2 screws in the front and unhooking the riser in the back. First, make sure the power is turned off. Disconnect the strain relief and the harness on the right side wall. Lift up on the front of the tray and pull slightly forward to clear the tray stop. Locate the release lever on the left and right tray rails. Swing the release levers up to unlatch. Lift up on the rear of the tray to remove the tray from the vendor. To reinstall the food tray, slide it in along the rails, push the release lever down, and put the harness retainer back on if necessary before engaging the harness again. The harness retaining clip prevents wear to the harness connection wires during repeated tray removals. Here's how to remove a can bottle steel tray. After powering off, remove the harness from the retainer and the connector. Then remove the 6 screws that secure the tray to the rails on both sides. Then lift up on the tray and pull it out like so. You may need to move trays up and down to accommodate taller products. After the tray is removed, you can reposition the rail. Using tape can be helpful to mark the front and back of the rails so that it is level in its new position. You'll need to remove 2 screws in the front and unhook the back to reposition each rail. The front and back must be moved the same distance to keep the tray properly level. Then secure the rail with the screws and latch in proper position. The vend elevator uses sensors at each tray so the elevator stops at the right spot. When you move the tray, you'll also need to move the magnets so the elevator stops at the correct position in relation to the tray. Remove the magnet and then the screw. Match the screw and magnets to the position you want the tray to stop depending on the product. The shape, size, and thickness of a product will determine how it needs to be set up to be dispensed reliably. Most beverages can be vended successfully when the spiral end is positioned at 12 to 3 o'clock, snack and food spirals at 7 o'clock, and dual spirals at 5 and 7 o'clock. You can also adjust the drop-off either by retiming the end of the spiral and/or installing a product pusher. Adjust spiral end position by pinching snap tabs of spiral coupling on back of motor. Pull out of motor, then snap back into desired position. Depending on the motor spiral type, the spiral can be rotated in 20-degree or 45-degree increments to find the best dispense position. The spiral can be removed from the gray spiral locator tab by twisting it out of the tab opening. It can be installed by securing it in the spiral locator tab shown here. Note there are two possible positions. The correct side is determined by the direction of the motor, and the spiral should be snapped on in the same direction as the motor drive. The motor can be clipped onto the tray and connected to the spiral locator tab in here. You can move the vertical divider partitioning following these steps. First, unhook the motor from the tray, then unscrew the dividers. Move the divider to a new latch on the tray and reinstall the screws to the divider. Then put the motor and spirals back on. Spiral retainers can be moved by using the latches on the tray. Vertical dividers and spiral retainers provide a smooth and secure path for your product. Some trays need two spirals to vend products properly. For this, you will need to install a dual spiral motor. However, it's important to note that you should never put a bottle in a dual spiral selection. You can detach the wires from the single spiral motor onto the new dual spiral motor. Line up the spirals correctly like so. Spirals should be facing forward, keeping the vended items in. Coils facing backward like this can cause a jam. Looking from the front, the left-hand spiral rotates in a counterclockwise direction and the right-hand spiral in a clockwise direction. The dual spiral motor is recommended for vending larger items. To replace the same kind of motor, follow these steps. The spirals are unhooked and the motor is unlatched from the tray. The wires are then attached to the new motor and correctly latched back onto the tray. When removing or installing the coin mechanism, turn the machine off. Then slide the coin mechanism out of the machine on the rails. Then undo the P-clamp holding the MDB harness. You will need an 11/32 nut runner or deep well socket. Then disconnect the MDB harness. Push the lever on the left to remove the discriminator portion from the coin mechanism. You can then remove the coin mechanism from the panel with a Phillips head screwdriver. You can reattach the coin mechanism to the panel with the 3 screws. Finally, place the discriminator portion into the coin mechanism. You can then clip the MDB harness and push the coin mechanism back in along the rails. When removing or installing the bill validator, turn the machine off. Remove the bill stacker by pressing down on the top tab and pull up and out. Then unclip the 2 MDB harness connectors. You will need an 11/32 nut runner or deep well socket to remove the 2 nuts holding in the top of the bill validator. Just loosen the bottom 2 nuts, keeping the studs in place. Grip the sides and lift the bill validator up and out. To replace the bill validator, tighten the 2 nuts on the bottom and secure the 2 nuts back near the top. Connect the MDB harness clips and place the bill stacker back on. To set the prices for the machine, press the Service Mode button accessed through the opening in the upper right of the control board cover. Press 5 for the pricing menu. You can then set prices for the machine by each item, by row, or a price for the whole machine. Press 3 to set the whole machine. Type the price and then hit pound to save. Press star to exit. Press 2 to set the price by the row. Press the row number and then the desired price. The top row is row 1. Press pound to save the price. Press star to exit. You can also set the price for each individual item. Press 1 to enter an item you would like to price. Then enter the item you would like to price. Follow up by putting in the correct price for that item. Press pound to save the price, and then pound again to set the price for the next item. Be sure to press pound to save each price. Press star to exit. For more assistance, call Vendnet Technical Support at 1-800-833-4411.